everybody, here we are for another video. Sorry it's been hit and miss, but you know how much we race. It just makes it tough sometimes, but I'll fill you in a little bit on what's been going on the last several weeks. We had a couple past races, the Southern Modified Racing Series presented by Pass. We've had a couple of those races. We had one NASCAR Well and Southern Modified Tour race at Caraway. That weekend that I was at Caraway, I was fourth. Finished fourth at Wake County for the Pass Southern Modified Racing Series, so fourth place weekend. Last weekend we had, on Friday night, we had Tri-County Motor Speedway, which is one of my favorite tracks. My mom and dad actually promoted that track back in the late 90s for a couple of years. It always puts on a real good show. It's a fun track to race on. I won there in 2010 on the NASCAR Well and Southern Modified Tour, the year I won the championship. So it's always been a pretty good track for us. It was last Friday night. Me and John Smith ran, I bet, the last 30 laps, door to door, side by side, and was edging each other back and forth at the line every lap and never touched each other. I've had, I bet, a dozen people say it's one of the best races they've ever seen. Unfortunately, on our end of it, we finished second by a couple feet, but it was a good night for us. You know, I'm not happy, but I'm not satisfied, but I'm happy. I mean, like I said, it was a good night, nothing tore up. That's the car that we're going to take to Bristol. So not tearing that car up and having a good run gives us an opportunity to focus a lot on what we need to do to that car to have it prepared for everything we need to do to go to Bristol. We're going to put a new body and stuff like that on it and just go over everything. So we've got a NASCAR Southern Well and Southern Modified race coming up in a week from this Saturday at Bowman Gray. But I'm not taking that car. I'm taking my old Bowman Gray car that I raced there for years. We tested it last Saturday morning and was real happy with it. So it's like Steve was saying a while ago, it's been there a time or two. So I'm looking forward to getting back in that car because I haven't been running it this year. On that note, the car that I have been running is the new LFR chassis that I debuted this year at Bowman Gray. Had real good results with it this past weekend. I qualified fifth. Qualifying on 100 lappers, you kind of, you know, maybe try a couple different things, and qualified fifth, but they drew the entire field, and we drew third, so pretty good start position. The thing about the Bowman Gray 100-lap draw nights is it's not just where you draw, it's where your competitors draw. So even though I drew third, the 83 was fourth and the 4 was fifth. So it was going to shape up to be a really interesting night to see if we could get up front and even hold those guys off. After we got going for a little while, the 26, Derek Stoltz, made his debut in a modified one of Nelson's car. I thought it was water at the time. I think I said in the newspaper he was leaking water, and come to find out they said they left the fuel cap off and it was dumping fluid all over the track. They ended up black flagging him, so that put us to the lead on the restart. A couple restarts later, the 83 and the 4 ended up tangling and knocking some cars out. So we inherited the lead, and we had a great car. And I've had a couple people say we were on cruise control and that kind of stuff. You can never let your guard down at Bowman Gray, and you use every night to learn for a different night. So we actually, the car was pretty close to the way it was a couple weeks ago, but the track is always changing. The tires, I've talked about before, how the tires may be harder one week than the next because they've sat in they've hardened up sitting in a hot tire truck all week. So with that being said, the car was as good this weekend as I've had it all year long. So it was a pretty good night for us. We were able to win our second race of the season at Bowman Gray and got a little bit of added to our points lead. So with 4 weeks left, we're looking forward to going over there and trying to get a couple more wins and hopefully get our 7th championship. But, you know, it's funny how a lot of people that come up to you and say, well, man, you got it wrapped up now, or you got this, or you got that. With Bowman Gray, anything's possible. But as our dad, he even said it again Saturday night, and he's taught me and Jason over the years that you can't make a plan. If you make a plan, it's going to mess you up if it changes whenever the green flag drops. So you go to Bowman Gray, you try as hard as you can. You don't make a plan, you go whenever the green flag drops. You make adjustments to yourself mentally, physically, and even with the car per the conditions that night. So that's what we did this past weekend, and that's definitely what we're going to continue to do for the rest of this year. It's like I told Jay at the Winston-Salem Journal, one of the reasons that I like the Patriots is they play offense every down, and I believe in that. If you score the most points, then defense is not as important. So not to say that you don't have to play some defense, but I love to play offense. So we're going to go over there. We're going to try to win some more races. But this weekend coming up, we got twin 50s. 50 lapper is the first 2 wins I ever had at Bowman Gray in a modified 1998 with 2 different 50 lap races. So I've always had some success in the 50 lappers. I've always liked the 50 lappers. So it makes it exciting for the fans. They qualify and then draw the top 6. And then they have the cone for both 50 lap races. So it's not that short sprint like a twin 25, but it's a little shorter and a little bit mixed up compared to the 100 lapper because they only do the top 6. So looking forward to this weekend. Next weekend we have a 100 lapper on Friday night and the NASCAR Well and Southern Modified Tour race on Saturday night. So a couple good weekends coming up. If you haven't had a chance to come out much this year, this weekend and the next couple weekends will be a good opportunity to come out and see some good racing. So with that being said, as always, I want to mention my sponsors. We say this all the time. Without our sponsors, it wouldn't be possible. These people help keep us up front, and we love to get in victory lane to showcase their product or their company or their business. So Speedway Auto Auction, Budget Sales and Leasing, CitraSafe Cleaners, Remington Scent Control helps us out as well on the Southern Modified Tour in places away from Bowman Gray. Howland Express leaving Kernersville. Did I say Adams Towing? Adams Towing. If I already said it, Adams Towing again. John at Cleanup Supply. Not to mention Pro System, Hank Thomas, RE Radios, Kevin Hughes and those guys. MJ Graphics. Mark's working on a Myers Brothers shirt as we speak. Hopefully we'll debut this weekend. Trying to think if I've forgotten anybody. H3 Motorsports, David Hutchins and those guys providing some bumpers and some stuff like that for us. So every little bit helps. Not to mention my crew this past weekend. We sweated it out all day on Friday at Tri-County. Got a couple hours sleep, came back practice on Saturday morning. Got a little bit more rest and came back and raced Saturday night. So it's like I said in my Victory Lane speech. It's not just my name on the roof that puts that car in Victory Lane. It's the help of everybody that contributes. My guys, my family, my sponsors, everybody that's a part of this thing is a group as a whole. And I think that's one of the reasons we've been able to be successful over the years is we look at it that way. It's not an individual effort, it's a group effort. So thanks to Stephen for driving all the way down here to do these videos for us. We were planning on doing a video, I'm assuming we were planning on doing one this week anyway, but it kind of falls right into his pattern of I'm not going to do a video unless you win. So we won, so he's here. So thank you, Stephen. I think I'm getting everybody. Hank Thomas, Sunoco Race Fuels, I forgot about that. Like I said, it's a group effort, everybody involved. So thank you for supporting us. If you would, please share these videos. Tell us where you're watching these videos from. We love to hear that. It's cool for me. I'm a local guy. You know, I'm a hometown southern country boy. So when I see people watching these videos and they tell me they're in, you know, up north in the northeast states or, you know, Midwest or even on the West Coast, it's cool to know that these people from all over the country are watching these videos. So that's one of the things that I like about the videos. So thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for your support. And come out and see us this weekend. God bless you.